The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday, TGIF, in the Riv on a rainy but cool. No more, look, the humidity's a lot better. In the Riv. So
Abby's looking comfortable.
Oh yeah, she's very happy today. No humidity. I don't have to have the air conditioning on,
Yes.
so it's
just for our viewers' knowledge, we will not be doing a show on Monday. The state is celebrating the 4th of July holiday on the 5th, so our studios are basically shut down. So we will not have a show on Monday. We will have a show on Tuesday with Gene St. Pierre on the bottom line, and I believe we have a guest, Chris Peckham, with that show. So it will be interesting to see. Also, I have to say this because I was a little appalled this morning when I saw a couple of comments on a few of Gene's comments about different things in the city from the same person who I shall not name. But understand something. We've been doing this show for 8 years. We dig deep. We have sources. They come to us. We don't get paid for this. We don't make a dime on this. We don't get sponsors. We don't get any of that. We do this out of the goodness of our own heart and to see good government. That's what we want to see. And if you can't understand that, that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. But we're not here to pick on every single man that comes into office, although it seems to be that way when it happens. Because if a mayor's doing good, we say they're doing good. If a mayor's doing bad, we say they're doing bad. If a mayor's doing nothing at all, we say that as well. So remember, we're here out of the goodness of our own heart and our own time. And it takes time to do this show. And the people in the background that help out doing this show also take their time. So please think about that before you make some comments about how we don't do the job right, or, all we're doing is picking on the mayor, and, Colin Dias did a better job researching things than we do, because believe me, there's a lot more behind the scenes that you don't see. So,
well, okay. Well, since I don't read crap like that, because that's what it is. It's partisan crap. This is the problem. So we're not going to do a show on Monday. So before we run out of time, because we're talking about actual things, the reality is that happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you have a good 4th of July weekend. So idiots who make comments like that, well, it is what it is. History speaks for itself. We listened to a city council spend an entire meeting saying how laws are violated every day by the city. And so, but who cares? I guess this individual doesn't care. We don't do our research, but bullshit. Don't give me that crap. I've sent letters quoting law, giving case law about things, and we're going to talk about something in a minute or so that I'm going to show. I have sent, I don't know how many letters about this issue, and nothing's ever done. And if we start quoting all this case law on shows, nobody will follow it. That's the problem. You got to talk about what's going on. The outcome is easily seen. All you got to do is look at the city. It's a disaster. Number one in crime, drugs, everything happening behind closed doors, horror shows at the city council. And by the way, the city council is not always supposed to, for all you pinheads out there that think that the city council and the mayor are supposed to be holding hands singing Kumbaya, yet, go back and take a civics course. There's supposed to be checks and balances. When they agree with the mayor, that's fine. If they disagree with the mayor or what they're doing, it's supposed to be checks and balances. It's not supposed to be your way. You're a political partisan, and, I don't care what your opinion is. Tucker Carlson's being investigated by the NSA because his show is contrary to the mainstream left-wing media. So they're going to go after him. Who cares? You got your comment. You have your right to not like us. You have the right to not agree with us. And you have a right to say anything you want. But you know something? Your opinion and the right you have with it doesn't mandate me to even pay attention to it. So, go do something yourself except kiss political ass and then come and see me. Stand up in front of the council and something.
And remember,
do that. Let me see you in front of the council making a presentation.
And remember, if you don't want to watch our show, nobody's forcing you to. So, but enough of the political diatribe. Let's get on to some real issues.
Yeah. I want to start off with something that, since we're talking about it, really disturbs me. We heard some talk, but not enough not enough depth. So I really believe the city council should be calling for an investigation. It is talking about Councilor Kadim, $1.2 million deficit, a department head, and the department head was unnamed from what I got, went into the Munis system and authorized an override of an approved budget without approval. That's actually a crime. And the corporate counsel said that, and he cited it. No department shall incur a liability in excess of the appropriation made for the use of such department, except in cases of major disaster, which poses an immediate threat to the health or safety of persons or property, referred to Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 31. And then it goes on to say the last 2 months of the fiscal year, it talks about any amount appropriated by by majority vote of the city council. That had to be approved by the city council, MGL 4433. And then additionally, any collective bargaining agreement, this is my favorite because I've sent this to the city council and the city, I don't know how many times. Any collective bargaining should be submitted to the city council within 30 days after the date of such agreement is executed by the parties with a request for an appropriation necessary to fund the cost of the items contained therein. See Chapter 150E, which is my favorite chapter, the Public Sector Bargaining Law, Section 7B. And they don't do that. Because when people get retired like this guy with comp days and they don't have the money and they're going to have to leave them off the job, you see what that law says? It says everything in that contract has to be costed out and appropriated for. So all the comp time that they owe is supposed to be part of the appropriation because it's a benefit stipulated in a contract. But they won't do that because their contract would be like $10 million more for all the bennies that they give and the buyouts. So what they do is they violate the law and not appropriate the money, and then they keep police and fire department vacancies open until they use the pay these guys would have got to pay them for the benefit that was supposed to be funded. And maybe you can't follow that, guy who doesn't like the way we do things and we don't do our research. But that's been pointed out to the city numerous times, and that's the reason we're always in a problem. But getting back to somebody going into the Munis system, that's taxpayer money that was misappropriated by a department head. He fundamentally took, or he or she or whoever it was, and we should know that as taxpayers, took taxpayer money and appropriated it for his or her department. 22 windows, this kind of stuff. This is outrageous. This is illegal. And what does the mayor say? Oh, I wasn't aware of it. Well, you are aware of it now. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to hide in your office and cover it up like you did with Malone? Are you going to recuse yourself from this too? Whoever did this actually should be terminated. That's malfeasance on the part of a public official. That's illegal. Not by my definition, not by my research, but by the corporate council's opinion and the law.
What's interesting is
again, we got another debacle, ignoring of laws and ordinances like the mayor does with the salaries. And this is a big one. This is huge. You're going into a system, and who has access to that system? Every single individual that was involved in this, who knew about this. And if the CFO knew about this, or if it was the CFO, they should be brought before the council. They should have to explain themselves, and they should be terminated for doing this.
Well, what's interesting is Mary Sahadi, I guess, knew about this because that's where it came up when the city administrator and Mary Sahadi were before the council. And if she knew, you know the mayor knew. So this line of bull that, I don't know, my hands are in the air, I don't know, nobody told me nothing, is not going to fly. Because guess what? You can't use the phrase, I'm the mayor, so it's my way or the highway, one way, and you can't use it the other way. If you're the mayor and it's your way or the highway, then you're supposed to know that your employees, your department heads, the people you've contracted, are stealing from the people of Fall River. Okay? Some people won't put it so bluntly. I will. Okay? And if you're going to allow this person to steal from the city of Fall River, you're just as complicit. It makes you a thief with them. It's that simple.
Well, you know, you're right, CJ, and it is because if you take money and misappropriate it, you took it out of someplace. It leaves a hole in the budget, and that hole has to be plugged. And it is a criminal thing. But listen, the mayor can say he didn't know all he wants, but that's really not an excuse, because as the mayor, he should know. His CFO did not inform him of something like this, which is a violation of the law. And by the way, Mary Sahadi had a legal obligation as the chief fiduciary of this city's finances to report this, not only to the mayor, but to the city council. If somebody complains about this to her, she may lose her CPA license. She has an obligation under the law as a fiduciary. Look it up. We don't do our research. Look up what the definition of fiduciary is. It's someone who has a legal obligation to handle funds properly for their clients. And her clients are the taxpayers of the city of Fall River and abide by all appropriate laws. Mary Sahadi should not have had to been asked by the city council when they uncovered it. She should have gone before the council immediately. There should have been action taken by the city to bring whoever did it into the mayor's office. And there should have been full disclosure, because that's mishandling of the taxpayers' money. It's a crime. Malfeasance on the part of a public official. Violations of 41, 33, 31, and all the other things stipulated by the corporate council. So they knew it was a violation of numerous sections of law, and nobody did anything about it. What do we got? The city side Matt Malone issue again? Everything is always buried. Somebody else has to drag it out. And then everybody tries to cover their butt. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't care. Well, I don't care if you didn't know. We know now. It's a violation of the law. You're going to let a department head access a system and override it and take money from somewhere else in the budget when they are prohibited by law from doing that. And you wonder why Fall River's a disaster? There's no leadership, no accountability, and no consequences for stuff like this.
But remember, Rumsey said it best himself. The law is only an advisory. It's to be interpreted. It's a guideline.
Well, we all know that's not true.
That's right.
And with all, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and they say we never do. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Everything he said, by the way, was not accurate. It was a legal opinion. And a judge would determine what is discretionary on that particular law. But I think he referred to that particular section as being kind of like, well, it's kind of discretionary and, the charter supersedes it and blah, 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 blah. But we know that that's an opinion. And that opinion is, it's like anal sphincters. Everybody's got one. So we know that the charter has not fared well when it went to court so far. I think they're like 0 and whatever because they haven't won one yet on the charter. And the fact is that it's a disaster. The language is not clear. It's ambiguous. And by the way, I'm glad you brought that up, CJ, because it slipped my mind. I meant to tell you, I got a phone call from somebody that said Mike Mioza, the chairman of the Charter Commission, actually went on Facebook and said that Rumsey was wrong. It's his charter. And he said nothing in that section was supposed to eliminate the right of the council to reject the budget in its entirety. So there you go. Opinions. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to say, this guy's right, that guy's right. I'm on his side. And they take political partisan things. And as the city council attorney said, the only person, when you have disagreements like this, that counts is someone wearing a black robe, a judge. And those arguments shouldn't have been made in the council chamber. They should have been made in front of a judge. And the problem is the only way you find out which one's right. So we've got we got city council saying that he's wrong, and now we got Mike Mioza saying he's wrong, the guy who basically was the chairman of the Charter Commission. So this is again is a side issue. You know what this is, CJ? This is smoke and mirrors to keep everybody diverted from the real issue. The real issue is that things like this, ignoring the ordinances for salaries by the chief executive officer of the city, just saying, screw it. I don't care what it says in the charter. I'm going to exceed a law, a city law. And then on the next breath, they go, oh, we can't do anything that the charter prohibits. Well, I think the charter says that you're supposed to abide by the ordinances of the city. So you get this. We play both ends, and you can't. The problem is we have a serious issue here. We had somebody, a department head, take money from another part of the budget and give it to his or herself. And so what's to stop that from happening again by another department head? Is this going to open a door to say, hey, look, you're a little short? I remember the good old days. You remember when Frank Manning was the DPW guy?
Yes.
And every time he ran short of money, he had to go before the council and explain why he ran out of money. And they used to berate him, beat him up, and do everything like that. Because you know something? That's what their job is. You came in here, you asked for a budget, you ran short. Explain why, like the law says, unless there was a disaster and an unanticipated disaster. I also remember the superintendent of schools going before the city council one time and saying for some reason he ran out of money, and they told him, well, you run out of money, you're not going to get any more money. He said, well, I'm going to close down the schools, and they had a big fight. Same thing with Manning. When Frank Manning went in, you're running out of money. Why? Oh, well, he had a reason. Too much snow, extra black. Or if they did, and they told him, you may or may not get the money. But there was accountability. But those were the good old days when mayors could get thrown out if they raised the tax rate. Now it's who gives a damn. We'll just make it up next year. We'll throw around money. And this is a serious issue. This is an issue that should be investigated, and every single person involved in this should be taken and brought in by the city council and say, whatever, why did you do this? And then the mayor should be asked, what are the consequences of misappropriating taxpayer funds?
Well, obviously the mayor doesn't think there's any consequences for misappropriating taxpayer funds because he's done nothing. So as I said, he's just as complicit. So that makes him a thief as well. But I'll tell you now, one of the things that I think is important, and I'm going to change the topic a little bit here. The mayor got his budget. The mayor got his budget, correct? He got his budget. It's in effect as of yesterday.
Yeah.
But where's the money? Where's the money? Because
you need money in the budget?
Well, because the city council never appropriated any money for the budget. Normally what happens is the city council approves the budget, and then their next vote is to appropriate the money for that budget. Such a vote did not take place. So if the mayor is spending this money that he's got budgeted, he could be operating illegally. Another one, because he doesn't have the money approved by the city council. And when he comes within the next meeting or by the 15th of the month, when he comes before the city council and asks them to transfer funds, which they always do at the end of the year, what if the city council decides we're not going to do it? We're not going to do it. We're not going to transfer anything for you. We don't have to. What happens? What happens then? What happens? What happens if he's found that he can't spend any money because the city council never appropriated any? What happens then? Guess what? City shuts down, and that's the mayor's fault. Again, the mayor's fault. Be careful what you do, Mr. Mayor, because sometimes the repercussions are worse.
Well, you're right, but I can tell you what's going to happen. He's going to cry. He's going to say, I got this. We had to do this because the city council didn't act properly. They didn't inform them that they had to do it. They did it this way last year and in previous years. There's a big legal controversy. But as you said, CJ, we're still hearing a lot about who's right. But you know something? That point is moot. Once the budget went into effect, it's a closed issue. The budget is now in effect. However, as you said, there are deficits in that budget. Is that budget an accurate budget? The fact is that they can go ahead and appropriate monies that were in that budget, but they can't appropriate monies that still need council action, need 2/3 votes, and needs vote on that particular item. Those things are not in the budget technically. They're in the budget pending approval. So even though the budget is moved forward, there's further action by the council. And now what are we going to do? Get into it? You know what he's going to say? Oh, it's not my fault. See, the council again is trying to shut down the city. They didn't act on a budget. Not that I acted in the back room after I promised to bring down a different budget. Not only in the newspaper, but in an interview. And I came up and I rammed this thing down their throat. But now it's going to be, well, it's the council. They're going to point fingers again. The council, and we're going to get into this. And who's the victim? The taxpayers of the city of Fall River. This is outrageous that this kind of process gets to be politicized. And it's been political because it's an election year, and everybody knows why, because talk on the street is that the president of the city council is running for mayor. So now he's going to do everything he can to try to point fingers at inabilities of the council because it's a political year, just like taking credit for healthcare plans that he had nothing to do with. That was brought in by Gallagher, not him or me or anybody else. That was introduced. by a third party. But it's a political year, so they take credit for everything. Everything good they did, everything bad the council or somebody else did. But that's the problem. The problem is these things never get resolved because we never attack the core issue. We never attack, as they say in Washington, the root cause. The root cause is government is not held accountable and there are no consequences, whether it's 22 windows, whether it's going into the Munis system, and fundamentally, as you said, stealing money from another place without permission. Nothing happens. And until the taxpayers of Fall River hold these people accountable and demand that there's accountability and consequences. The taxpayers deserve to know who did this and what's going to happen to him or her for doing it. But you know why? They all knew it, and again, they covered it up. Mary Sahadi didn't go to the council and bring this up. By the way, we had a department head. They had to extricate it from her.
That's not good. That's not pleasant. That's not the way government should be. And you almost want to say, why do we even bother? Because we have a department head that we know by his own admission illegally paid a vendor twice. And his excuse was, I was told to do it by the mayor. So, and has there been any repercussions for that? Has there been any reprimands? Is there any, question on it? Is there any hearing on it? Is there anything about it? None. What was the mayor's answer? What was Paul Coogan's answer? I can't do anything until I see the transcript. Everyone saw it on their own computer screens. Everyone listened to his testimony. And then when I checked with the clerk of the courts, the clerk of the courts told me the city of Fall River nor Mayor Paul Coogan did not request a transcript of the hearing. So the mayor's saying out of one side of his face, I can't do anything till I read the transcripts. And out of the other side of his face, he's not requesting the transcripts, which means I'm not going to do anything. So there you go. I'm going to use your words against you, Mr. Mayor. You want to do it to us. You want to pick out one word and pick it up and pick it apart. Well, I'm going to do the same thing. So again, no reprimands, no nothing from your administration. That's the way it is because I'm a nice guy. Why doesn't people like me? Guess what? You're not liked. Get over it. Everyone's not going to like you. That's the call of the world. And don't say, don't you want to go to heaven? Because that's not going to work either.
Well, we can only say one thing. The only people who have benefited from this circus, again, are the politically connected people who are getting their pay raises and in violation of ordinances and getting all their money while the taxpayers take it on the chin again. So, happy 4th of July and get ready because now, all these people are going to get big pay raises while your tax rates go up again. So
and
welcome to our world.
Yep. And guess what? It's the 4th of July, which is a celebration of Independence Day, but we don't have any independence from the current administration. He's a dictator, and that's what we get. Dictatorial actions, and that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And I hope that the city council does not appropriate the money for his budget. And let's see how he operates after that. Let's see. Because the law doesn't say that the budget goes into effect appropriated. It just says the budget goes into effect. It says nothing about the appropriation. Oh, well, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Just when it's getting good. Just when it's getting good.
America. So.
Just when it's getting good. I'll tell you now. Just when it's
right.
getting good. But I want everyone to have a happy and safe 4th of July. There will be fireworks on Sunday, supposedly. Hopefully the weather cooperates. And that will be down on the Taunton River. And there are supposedly places along the river and along the boardwalk to watch it. So thank you for watching. Have a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Happy birthday, America.